Right, I did say in the last review that Hunchback and Hercules constituted one of my most and least favourite Disney films ever. Enough stalling, time to come clean. Hunchback of Notre Dame is one of my favourite Disney films ever. I love it an inordinate amount. It's my favourite 2D Disney release and one of my favourite movies of all time. It was a gutsy move for the House of Mouse to tackle deformity, sex and religion in the same film, but for the most part it's done well. Really well. Surprisingly well. On top of that, it's a solid musical, better even than Beauty and the Beast, with well-integrated songs that are across the board exceptional. Okay, not across the board.
A guy like you, a girl does not meet every day.
But at least that one's also not well integrated, so it's easy to skip. Yeah, the comedy's pretty painful, but the size, scope and emotional depth of the rest of the movie more than make up for it. Hercules, on the other hand... You know what? I am going to stall a bit longer. Let's talk about Esmerelda. While not especially a highlight of the film, Esmerelda serves her purpose well enough. This is how both Ariel and Belle should have been. She knows what she wants, and she'll actually do something in order to get it. Having spent her life on the streets as a gypsy, she's learnt to get her own way, whether it be through seduction, entertainment, argument, physical fighting, or just a strong sense of justice. I particularly enjoy the scene where she escapes the guards, because it showcases everything awesome about Esmerelda. How she stays cool and collected in the face of danger, her quick thinking and physical dexterity, and her showmanship. It's so fun to watch. There is rarely a moment where she stands still. She is unashamedly a traveller and adventurer. To be honest, because of all this, she ends up being kind of disappointing. With this rich past and strong traits, she should be a really interesting character. And while she's by no means dull, it still feels like sometimes she's there more to serve the plot or to be the foil to the scene's focus character, rather than to have an emotional presence. The two most obvious examples of this are when she's comforting Quasimodo.
I don't see any.
Any what?
Monster lines. Not a single one.
And her fight with Phoebus.
You fight almost as well as a man.
Funny, I was going to say the same thing about you.
Neither of these scenes feel wholly natural, particularly the snarky back and forth between her and Phoebus. That is actually one of my least favourite moments in the whole movie. This is an adaptation of a Victor Hugo novel, not a sitcom for fuck's sake. So overall, yeah, I like Esmeralda, but I feel she wasn't utilised as well as she could have been. Okay, I can't put this off anymore. I really, really dislike Hercules. I just find the stylistic choices very strange. I don't get why they implemented gospel music for a movie about Greek gods. I kind of get the Las Vegas motif, reminiscent of Caesar's palace, even though that's Roman, not Greek, but I think I see where they were coming from there. And for a comedy, it's really not funny. Comedy writers, take note. Write funny lines and draw funny animation. Don't do neither of those things and add car horn noises. The characters, for the most part, are bland cardboard cutouts there to serve the plot, with one exception. Megara. Where Esmeralda was a character with wasted potential in an outstanding movie, Meg is an outstanding character in a movie with wasted potential. She is so unlike any Disney female that's come before. For one, she starts off working for the villain. An old-fashioned struggle between good and evil usually leads to a successful story arc, and it works pretty well here. She also sounds different to any other Disney female. So far they've all been fairly high-pitched, floaty and sing-songy.
Don't worry, I'll be alright.
Not Meg. Hers is deep, brooding, almost sultry.
You'd think a girl would learn.
It's a refreshing change. Speaking of sultry, she's the first Disney woman to admit she's had a romantic history. That veers wildly from the Disney direction of either keeping them virginal for their Prince Charming or just ignoring it altogether. In fact, for the most part, she's actively trying not to fall in love. But she does stumble into a few of the old cliches. While she acts very aloof, sarcastic and feisty, she rarely backs it up with any action the way Esmerelda did. Granted, she saves Hercules' life in a nice twist on the knight in shining armour trope, but that's it. For the most part, she just sits back and lets other characters sort out the problem. Maybe it's the benefit of being in an astoundingly badly made film, but despite her flaws, yeah, I like Meg. Okay, let's hear that sexy voice one more time.
Well, you know how men are. They think no means yes and get lost means take me, I'm yours.
Join me next time when we'll be looking at every 90s kid's favourite transvestite, Mulan.